Well, the wigs clearly have grown flight feathers enough to no longer be on the ground, because both little ones are up in the tree, unless, actually now that I look at it, maybe they walked their way up there. There's a slant on that little branch there, and they might have just hopped up and then clung on and walked slowly up this sort of 45-degree angle to where they are now. So they're roosting in a little tree, which I'm sure will be much more comfortable for them in many ways, because it's going to be a lot cooler. Their nest is in the full sun in the mornings, and so in the afternoons it's okay, but in the mornings they really do get hammered by the heat. So now they'll be able to get up into the shade and stay away from the hot sun. But cool to see the two little ones up and about and in trees and looking massive in comparison to when they're all sort of huddled up and hunched over in the little nest. It's hard to get a sort of size for them, but now that they're up in the tree, they're almost as big as the adults in terms of size. Obviously they've got a long way to go from a feather development point of view, but actual body size is pretty close to what we see in the adults. So it's exciting times, and it's good for them, because this is going to increase their chances of survival tenfold. I feel like there's some strategic things going on in the MC this morning, because I've just been fed through a comment that Barbara can't wait for the morning safari with Nadine and Morgan at the helm, and that it's now their show. I suspect that was a doctored comment, and if it wasn't, well, then I don't know. We're going to have a tough morning on the cars, Cedric and I. Although Cedric doesn't seem to get the same abuse that I do. Apparently, it can't be helped that the viewers, in other words, all of you watching, love Morgan and Nadine. Morgine. There we go. Morgine, the Morgine show is what we'll start to call it from now on. Anyway, let's move on. We've got, like I say, the wigs to talk about. But it's interesting, like I was saying, their survival chances have increased exponentially now, because as soon as they're off the ground, it allows them to be away from quite a few predators, so things like hyena, even certain, well, I suppose leopard to a degree, although I don't think they're very agile, and a leopard we know can climb. But lions, for example, would maybe have a difficulty now getting to them. So at least it gets them out of the way of things, and they camouflage a lot more up in the tree than what they would on the ground. If they're on the ground, then it's a lot harder for them to kind of camouflage. They get seen pretty easy, especially with this down fluff that they've got that typically shines in the sunlight, and a big white blob out here generally doesn't camouflage very well. Alright, so it was just a quick update just to see how they're doing. Nice to see them up in the tree. Happy days. We're going to go carry on and see what else we can find.